You can make life-changing money trading, but you're going to have to ignore the skeptics. You're going to have to ignore the naysayers. You're going to have to do a overview, and you're going to have to do a stock take of the people you are currently surrounded by in life and whether that is a life you want. Most of the time, when we learn something new or we take on a new venture, learn a new skill, we go through the motions of wanting to better ourselves and increase our life's potential. Everyone's got something to say about it. Everyone's got a story. Old Uncle Jim who lost his entire savings in the 2008 stock market. Oh, you can't make money online. You can't have a business. You can't do this. You can't do that. Yap. Right. I mean, these people, they genuinely do think they mean well. Like they're trying to help. They're trying to help. They can't see past this veil where they've boxed themselves in to this safe, predictable life. And I say safe with quotation marks because a job isn't safe anymore. Nothing's safe anymore. The only thing that's safe is betting on yourself, putting all of the eggs in your own basket to figure something out. I did this a decade ago, 10 years ago. I bet on myself. I decided I didn't want the route that everyone around me was taking. It was obvious they were all miserable. They complained all the time. They lived for the weekend and they just didn't have any zest for life. There was nothing they liked about their life. And I thought, there's no way I'm committing to that normal life, that normal road of the masses. So I jumped in. I was like, right, what can I do? What can I do? I don't come from money. I don't come from a background of financial advice. I don't come from anything that was really other than go to university, get a job, get a skill from university, then get a job, then save and save and save, and then buy a house, have a mortgage till you die. Retire at 65, right? That was the path. Anyway, for me, living and growing up in New Zealand, I didn't know anyone who was making money online. I didn't know anyone who was trading. I didn't know anyone who was doing this, apart from a few key people I found on social media 10 years ago. And that shifted my entire life trajectory to the life I'm living now. There were a lot of people that spoke up. A lot of people had opinions, especially in the first 3 years of this journey when I was losing. Everyone had something to say. This is a terrible idea. Don't do it. Give up. You're wasting time. You're wasting money. You're wasting resources. Just give up. You've got a good, decent career path. You've got a good, decent job. Just stop. All I can say now is thank gosh I didn't, because my life is so much better than I ever thought it could be. I am genuinely living a very fulfilled, exciting, enjoyable existence, and you can too. But guess what? You got to ignore the skeptics. Okay? The route I went down is day trading. That was my route. I did try other things, but this was always a thing. I have dabbled in other things. I've done a lot of different businesses online, but this was definitely the one that stuck. This is the one that I figured out, and this is the one that's given me this life that I now live. Let's jump into it. Okay. All right. Okay. There's a myth out there, and it's a narrative that says the retail traders don't stand a chance. So retail traders is someone like me, someone like you, just regular folk trading their capital in the market. We're not millions and millions and billions of dollars. We don't have the big money. We don't have the hedge funds. We're not a bank. We're not a government. We're just us. We're just us. We're retail traders, right? There's this myth, right, that the markets are so dominated by institutions and algorithms, and that there's players with all this money and all these resources, so much more than we could ever imagine, which is true. That does exist. But there's this narrative that say us retail traders don't stand a chance, that the markets are just so dominated by these institutions and governments and algorithms and players with more resources that we could even imagine trading with, which is true. We're playing against those big boys. We are sometimes their liquidity. We are sometimes riding the wave of what they're doing. Absolutely, they exist and they are moving the markets. But people often use that as a reason to believe that success in trading isn't even possible, that they talk themselves out of it before they even try, before they even begin, before they even commit time and effort to this. They've already got that mental loop of this can't succeed, and they're finding examples that match that narrative. If you or others you know hold this belief, then you've got to realize that you're not competing on the same planes, the same battlefield as the institutions, as the government, as the hedge funds. We're not playing the same game. We're playing within the rules of the same game, but it's a different game. We're playing in the same stadium, but it's a different game. We're playing in the same stadium as them, yes, but it's a different game entirely than what they're playing. We're not trying to outcompute a high-frequency trading machine or a billion-dollar algorithm. We're not trying to deploy millions and billions of dollars into the market and our out of the market every single trade. The scale that you and I are operating at is so tiny and small compared to them that that's exactly why we have an advantage that they don't. We're not trying to move so much money that it actually causes the market to fluctuate. That's not our goal. Our goal is just to get in and to get out of our trades in a pretty small, reasonable manner. And that flexibility, that speed of being able to make a decision, being able to change our mind on a long bias or a short bias, we've got that ability to be adaptable, to be flexible, to change instantly. They don't have that. It's a different game entirely. For them, their bias is set. They've got boards, they've got committees, they've got a full regime of what they're doing in terms of where their money goes. That is a completely different way of trading. It's not the same way we trade. Use being small, use being flexible, use having the adaptability to our power, and we will be able to make a considerably large sum of money. If we use being flexible and malleable and adaptable and we're moving and flowing with it, we can get in and out of the markets and we can find these patterns and we can find these footsteps behind what they're doing that we can actually start profiting for ourselves. Throughout the beginning of time, since the trading market, stock markets, future markets, currency markets, whatever has been started, there has always been individuals who start small and build extraordinary results. Regular people have been able to come into the markets and turn a small amount of money into a fortune. And it's not because the markets are easy, but because they've mastered themselves. I have examples like right behind me. Let's see. One. This dude here, the flash crash trader, Navinda, he's from the UK, literally lived at home with his parents. His trading story is so insane. In 2010, he literally managed to collapse the entirety of the financial market for a short period of time by himself, right? Like one guy on his own. Ray Dalio, right? Ray Dalio started trading himself, and now he's had built one of the largest hedge funds that there is, but he started as a small fish. Everyone knows this cat, Berkshire Hathaway or Warren Buffett, huge billionaire hedge fund trader and investor. Started off, with his own capital. Then he went out to friends and family, and that's how Berkshire Hathaway was started. It's just one guy, one girl, with a vision, with an ability to commit themselves to learning and mastering this skill. And there's many more. I've got many more. If you haven't read any books on traders who have done the thing and have been super successful, then this is a great place to start. There's so much knowledge. And look, in the current day and age, the opportunity to succeed as a trader hasn't disappeared. It just simply demands more awareness. We've got to lean into what the actual edge we have here as a retail trader, and it's freedom of movement. Like, institutions have massive size, millions and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. They can't get in and out of a position on a whim. They don't change their bias from going long to going short based on what they're seeing in the market. We have the agility. We can enter without price moving. We can step aside without explanation. We can specialize in one setup. We can specialize in one time frame, one niche. We can change our minds instantly if we want to. We can sit out when conditions aren't clear and obvious to us. And that freedom is an edge that most people just underestimate. Like, that's the freedom. That's the edge of a retail trader. And the question is whether you use it with discipline or you squander it with impulsiveness. If you utilize that edge with a disciplined approach, treating trading like a business, like you're the asset of your business, you can make so much money. It's not even comprehensible. A lot of people don't last though. They come and go. I've been trading over a decade now. I've taught people to trade. I've taught family. I've taught friends. I have a community where I teach people strategies. I've taught a lot of people now, and there's a lot of people that don't fail because the opportunity isn't real. They just fail because the path requires patience. The path does require patience. It requires humility. You have to pay a time debt. You're learning something that's going to allow you to press a button and change the course of your entire life. Like, it takes time to get in flow with the markets. It takes time to know yourself and know what your weaknesses and your triggers are. That requires the willingness to sit through periods where nothing is happening. Completely boredom. It requires emotional regulation. You can't come into this sporadic. You can't come into trading with impulsiveness, with fear, with greed. You have to be a neutral playing field. That's why I talk so much in my content about the main thing you can do in your trading is just about regulating your nervous system so you're coming from that neutral standpoint. Many people discover they don't actually want to master trading. They don't want the mastery. They want the immediacy. They want the quick win. They want the money. They want the lotto ticket mindset, the lotto thinking. They don't necessarily want to master the skill that is trading. Trading's going to just strip back those illusions as well. It's going to show you where you react. Trading's going to remove all these illusions that you have about it and about yourself. It's going to show you where you react, where you're not in control, where you rush, where you're impatient, where you avoid discomfort. And that's why the journey is confronting. That's why a lot of people back away, because it's shining a mirror on your flaws as a human being. That's why I think it's deeply spiritual, because it's so transformative. It completely transforms the way that you react in your everyday life. Every single serious trader goes through this. Every single person who's cracked through to consistency, where they're now making money, it's now their job, if it's their full-time job, if that's the desire. And at the beginning you believe you just need the right strategy. I just need the right series of indicators or the right entry criteria. And then you think you find it. You might think you found it. I think you've got the holy grail. It looks great and it looks peak in your back testing, and then you get humbled. You break your rules, you over leverage to make back a win, or you over leverage when you're feeling greedy or on a hot streak, you under leverage when you're fearful, and you overtrade. You chase setups. It's not because you're stupid, it's not because you don't understand what to do, it's because your ego is still in the driver's seat, it's still taking control. The hardest thing you have to deal with when you're becoming an asset as a trader is the feeling and the needing to always be right. That is an inherent trait most of us grow up with. I don't think there's many people who get into trading who aren't overachievers in their life. You're probably not just pottering around doing nothing or never achieved anything in your life. You want a better life. You're ambitious, okay? That usually comes with perfectionism and or a needing to be right all the time. And that needing to be right is one of the hardest things you're going to need to squash, because you can't be right. You won't be right. You'll be wrong. You'll be right hopefully more times than not, but you're still going to be wrong a heck of a lot. So needing to be right is the big one that's going to really screw you up. The needing to make it quickly. So if you're uncomfortable right now, you don't like your life, you don't like your situation, you need money, you want to get out of your job, whatever, you're feeling this urgency, like you're running out of time and you need to make it quickly, that's going to screw you up. The markets don't have a time horizon. You can't say I want to pass my prop firm in 30 days. You just have to trade what the market gives you. Some days that's going to mean you pass in a week. Other conditions, it might mean it takes 3 months. We just don't know. You can't always be putting this time barrier on yourself. Only thing you need to focus on is having a plan that's backed by some data, right? So you've got confidence, you've got trust in the plan. Then you show up every single day and execute the plan no matter what. That's it. That's literally the source. That's literally all you need to do. So can you actually make money with trading? So can you actually make money trading? Yes, you can. You can make money day trading. You can make money investing. You can make money scalping. You can make money swing trading. You can make money. The opportunity is real. It often gets watered down though of what it's going to take you by social media and the flashiness of the lifestyle and the lure of all of that stuff. And I'm probably talking to a bit more of a sophisticated audience that can see right through that's not realistic. You have to sit down at a computer and you have to commit hours of your life to this. You have to do the work. You have to show up. You have to have your energy and your sleep and your mindset and everything dialed in. You have to be performing as if you're an athlete. The level of decision making and mental fatigue trading can take requires you to always be in peak condition mentally. And quite frankly, a lot of people aren't going to commit that. They're just not going to do it. They're going to jump in, think of it as a hobby. When it doesn't work overnight, get disheartened because they haven't got realistic expectations, and then they're going to look for reasons why it can't work. It can work. It worked for me. I have made more money in a month than my parents would have made combined in 3 years growing up. Just from trading alone. It's the opportunity that we have at our fingertips now is unbelievable, but it requires effort. It requires you to show up. It requires you to put in the time and become the trader. But if you're willing to do that, and if you're willing to believe that, and if you're willing to keep showing up, there is no limit. The sky is literally the limit. There is no limit to what you can do. There's no limit to what you can have. And I think that is a vision worth going for.